Hey guys, Coach here. Welcome to this week's video. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about summer lawn care. What I want to express to you is 5 simple summer lawn care tips to keep your lawns looking in tip-top shape without the heavy-duty professional cost. Number 1 is your mowing height and mowing frequency. Mowing height, as you get transitioning from spring to summer, and your summertime temperatures come on, please raise up your mower deck at least 1 notch. Here up in zone 4 where we're at, I have primarily chewings, fescue, and bluegrass, and I am going to go from middle of the road measurement, which is about 2 inches, and I'm going to go up a notch and make it 3 for the summer. And we generally don't see temperatures. I mean, we just had a couple of hot days, and those were 85 degrees. And I know some of you are going to laugh at me, but 85 degrees here is a hot day. It's like, whew, turn on the air conditioner. But up here, you know, maybe where you're at, 85 degrees might be your overnight temperatures. And I feel for you guys. So mowing frequency, when I have sunny days in the 70s and 80s, and I have plenty of moisture in the ground because I do not have an irrigation system here, I mow twice a week, generally at the beginning of the week and Friday or Saturday type of mowing. And that generally knocks off about 1/3 of the total turf height. And that's all I really want. So mowing height, raise it up in the summer just a bit. When you get into the cooler fall temps before things go dormant, you can lower it back down just a little bit. Scalping a lawn to get extra time for not having to mow is really detrimental to the lawn. It invites pests. It weakens all the lawn turf because they do not have that root zone protection from the upright blades of grass. So don't scalp it. It's just a way to create more problems for yourself. Yeah, you may not mow, but you also may dry out, stress, and even shock the lawn to the point where you'll have yellow out and die out in some places. Okay, moving on. How about water? Water is super important during the growing season for a turf. It's one of the drawbacks about managing a turf lawn in your landscape, is you always have to put some water on it. Now, many of us east of the Mississippi, we tend to rely on Mother Nature watering the lawn. Not always the best thing. It'd be nice if you had some supplemental water or you had an irrigation system that you could deploy. For me, hey, I've gone back 40 years. I drag a hose and have a stand-up impulse sprinkler in times when it's been dry. And it's worked out fine. Most turf grasses, bluegrass, fescues, ryegrasses, even the warmer season grasses, the Bermudas, the Bahias, the Zoysias, will always do pretty darn good and stay pretty darn healthy with about 1 inch a week. 1 inch of water per week will keep that root zone wet. And most experts generally say deep, infrequent watering is best for a lawn. Let it dry out just a little bit on top and have those roots penetrate deeper to find water further down, rather than the opposite, and you have lots and lots of shallow watering from an irrigation system and all the root zone is in the top 3 inches. And then you have a dry spell of 2 weeks and all of a sudden you got this wilting and dying of the turf. So deep, infrequent watering. When I've had last summer in August, the lawn out here started to dry out in places and I watered it with the hose. I put it on for like 2 hours one evening and let it deep soak. And we got through the dry spell pretty darn good. With all the engine noise, whether it's electric or whether it's gas, taking care of your hearing through all that is imperative because God only gave you 2 ears, 2 eardrums, and all the things that go along with it. That's why this week's sponsor is ProHear, quality company that puts out a great over the head and over the hat ear protection with the additions and capabilities of Bluetoothing to your phone and everything on it. I've enjoyed ProHear after the past couple of weeks of being able to review it and use it out here at Brook and Pond, using it with the mower, chainsaw, blower, edger, and even the radial saw. Meanwhile, listening to my favorite books on Audible or answering the phone. ProHear reduces the dangerous noise levels by up to 46 decibels. That's pretty good. That's pretty darn good. Taking something like a edger, a string trimmer, that oftentimes is inverted and the engine is right near your ear, taking it from 130 decibels and taking it down below 100. That's pretty good. Pretty good ear protection. Now, with that being said, the only recommendation I have to ProHear, and that is make your band and extension capabilities a little wider and a little longer. This is kind of a one-sizer, and I found them to be a very comfortable hearing protection, but only for about an hour, hour and a half. If I had to wear it longer, they probably would have been a little tight on me. And compared to some of the other earmuffs and stuff that I've used from various power equipment companies, they're very, very snug, ProHear. And I would like to see them be just a little bit looser. But I sure do appreciate ProHear reaching out and asking us to review and do a little video on it. Ear protection is very, very important. Whether it's at work, whether it's at play, whether you're using it for the gun range or the gardening or whatever it might be, where a lot of noise is expected, try ProHear. We'll put a link in the description below. And again, thank you ProHear for reaching out to Yard Coach and giving us an opportunity to look at this product and use it. We have used it dozens of times already. Okay, moving on. How about feeding? As I'm telling you this in June of 2025, my feeding for the lawn is done until fall. You feed at the first time that you start to see new growth. Obviously, no more snow, no more freezing temperatures. The lawn is coming back to life, and feeding is a good time then. Right before summer, so probably 90 days before the heat of the summer, you can do one more feeding if you'd like. And then again in the fall, maybe in end of September, depending on where you guys live. Kind of use it as a guideline. I used to go, when I lived in zone 9, I had 4 times a year feeding. And I kind of gauged it at the beginning of each season. The beginning of spring, right before the beginning of summer, right at the beginning of fall, and then right before, generally between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I would have one more feeding. Up here, zone 4, 3 times a year, because our growing season is so much shorter than zone 9. Generally, a commercial type of lawn food works fine. I've used Best products, I've used Scott's products, and they all kind of seem to do the same thing. If you are a grass aficionado, you can get off into all kinds of super micronutrient type of stuff. But that's if that is your wheelhouse. Many of us out here don't live around our lawns on a daily basis. We just try to take care of them and make them look their best they possibly can. And that's who I'm speaking to. You aficionados, you can tell me all the stuff you can put on a lawn. And that's why the agricultural industry is such a multi-billion-dollar industry. So feeding, 3 times if you're up in the northern zones, 4 times if you're in the higher zones, and watering an inch a week. Moving on, pests and diseases. Most of the time in the drier areas of the country and globe, and where I'm at, there's not a lot of pests and diseases. There are times where you could get into lawn moth and lawn grubs. Those can be easily treated with a liquid or a granular type of insecticide. Out in zone 9, we did have some grub problems occasionally, and I kind of pre-treated the lawn area to kind of nip that in the bud before it ever really got out of hand. You can kind of diagnose lawn grub quite a bit when you start seeing areas of your lawn wilting and additional water does nothing to correct the problem. The best thing you can do to ward off pests and diseases is to keep your lawn in the best shape possible. When it comes to weeds, you have your usual crabgrasses in the summertime, creeping Charlie, all kinds of broadleaf weeds. If you want, like I've just gone on a dandelion party the past week because that's what we have up here. Dandelions, oh plenty. Many people have lawns that are more dandelion than lawn, but I prefer not to. And up here, it's the norm. And I can remember so many other parts of the country and where I used to live where dandelions were the bane of existence because they're such a profuse seeder. They put out thousands of seeds per plant. So if you need to correct those kinds of things, there's plenty of broadleaf weed killer. There are manual applications that you can go out there and attack on a cool weekend morning and pull as much as you can if you don't want to spray herbicides on your lawn. I get it, but sometimes if you have a vast area that you're trying to keep nice, yeah, sometimes the sprays are what you need. Another piece of advice I can give is keeping your power equipment in the best shape possible. If it runs, fantastic. But the biggest thing that you can do for your lawn and for the workability of your mower is keep your blades sharp and keep multiple blades on hand. Deploy a recently sharpened blade first thing in the spring, and as you're mowing once or twice a week, switch that out in the summer. Use the next blade through the summer till maybe right before Labor Day. Switch that one out for your last blade that's going to carry you through the rest of the season. A sharp blade goes through and cuts lawn blades so easily that you're not ripping and tearing the blades so you have that white, hazy look on top. So it's not too hard if you go out and find 3 blades, have them professionally sharpened, or learn how to do it yourself. And then use those over the course of the season instead of the same old blade month after month, year after year. You're not doing your lawn any service, and you're making your mower work that much harder. And when it comes to the mower, springtime is the time to change out the oil, put a new filter on it, check the belts if you have a ride-on mower, and check the blade for damage. If it's damaged and out of balance, you might as well put a new blade on there. They're not that expensive, and they last for years provided you're not mowing rocks, plain and simple. So there you go. Real easy steps for summer lawn care. And heck, you know, it may not be the greatest chore that some people have to do. For me, it's literally a catharsis. I literally look forward to it, and I look forward to the lawn looking its best. Hey, again, a big shout out to the sponsor of this week's video, and that is ProHear. We'll put a link in the description below. ProHear, thank you very much. And that's all I have for you this week. Hey, as always, to your landscape success, do not forget our website, youryardcoach.com, where we have plenty of educational products, consultations, designing, everything else. I invite you to go over there. And if I've earned it, I hope I can get a subscribe from you and a thumbs up. Catch you guys next week. As always, bye for now.